Hello everyone, and thank you for joining my talk about project-based competition. My name is Danijela Takač and I'm a physics and astronomy teacher from Croatia, the capital city Zagreb, and I'm a member of the NAIC team, Universe Awareness Ambassador, a member of the Croatian Astronomical Society, and an Erasmus Plus Ambassador for General and School Education. So, in Croatia, astronomy competitions have been organized since 1967 by many non-government institutions, but in 2008, the organizing was given to the Education and Teacher Training Agency that has been organizing it so far. And astronomy competitions consist of 3 levels or rounds: school, county, and national. But at the beginning of the competition, usually during December and the first half of January, students must send their abstracts of their projects to the National Committee. The abstracts are reviewed, approved or rejected, and suggestions are sent back to the students. The school rounds begins in January and is organized by teachers of the specific school. So it's a way of selecting the best students that later attend the regional competition. School rounds are only a written exam, and students compete from 5th grade to 8th grade in middle school and 4 grades in high school. The second round is county competition, and it is organized in March within each school separately. So the regional or county competition consists of theoretical exam, and also students are obliged to bring their project report. So every project can be realized by 2 students from the same class, and the National Committee then anonymously reviews the projects by 2 referees in each class. The students with the best combined exams from the project results as well as the written exam are then invited to the national competition in May. These photos show one of the county schools that's been organizing the competition, and you can see that school puts a lot of effort to motivate students to continue learning astronomy, because, as I will tell you later, we have a very big problem with the decreasing number of students and teachers that are attending our competitions and even teaching astronomy. So the tests are regular tests, like in, I suppose, most of your countries, questions, theoretical questions, and 4 like mathematical problems that they have to solve. Well, project works are a lot harder to grade. So the National Committee has designed a grading rubric for the projects. The committee members rate clear goals and logic of the project work, motivation, grammar and spelling, detailed and clear descriptions of the used materials, equipment, and the work reproducibility. So they also grade the quality of the result analysis, calculations of the errors, and the quality of the conclusion. In the rubric, you can see, sorry, it's in Croatian, but you can see there are points for naming all the references and sources they have used, especially for the photographs. And the last grading point, and most of the difficult ones for most of us that are members of the National Committee, is the innovation and the amount of work that the student has put in the project. And the committee also can write their remarks on and suggestions on how to improve the work they have been doing. Upon attending the national competition, students have a theoretical exam, but also they have to make a PowerPoint presentation or a poster. So after the county or the regional competition, if they are invited according to the points to the national competition, they have to defend their project work in front of 3 members of the national committee. And we have also devised a rubric on how to grade their presentation. So this rubric evaluates the clearness and order of the presentation, how the student is familiar with the theme of the project, the presentational skills, the design of the presentation, as well as the quality of the suggested improvements the student has or has not made after they have submitted their projects for the review. And the final ranking is based on the exam, presentation or poster results, and project review. The winners of the competition and the runners-up are then invited to attend the selection for the national IOAA team, organized by the Zagreb Astronomical Observatory and Croatian Astronomical Society. Well, this has been a little overview, but during the years, we have tried to organize different approaches to these astronomy competitions. Because when I first started teaching astronomy, fourth grade students, 9-year-olds, could also compete, but up to regional level. And have only a written exam. And it was a very, very good way to motivate students, because they could get the overview of the competition before attending it in the 5th grade. In middle school, astronomy is unfortunately only taught as an extracurricular activity, and teachers usually have it only once a week. But to participate in the competitions, it's much easier to work with high school students because they are much more independent. But for example, this is a project example written by 5th graders, sorry. And it's very hard to do a project work with 5th graders that meet astronomy for the first time, and the scientific calculations and scientific way of thinking. So you have to mentor them step by step, because math background is hard. And sometimes teachers have to be creative when choosing a topic of the project also, and making it more simple, especially for the youngest students, as are this one on the photos. So you have to also keep in mind that the projects you are competing with should have measurements, calculations, analysis of the results, calculations of the results, as you can see here. And it's very hard for them to understand the scientific process. But nevertheless, the project part of the competition is the most demanding and the most rewarding, because students learn so much. In fact, the astronomy competition in Croatia is the most demanding STEM competition, because, for example, in national physics and, for example, chemistry competitions, you have they have divided theoretical competition from the project-based competition. But in astronomy, they are combined as one. And also, a teacher mentor, usually when they start doing the project with students, has to think very hard about what subject he or she is going to do, because the young students cannot go stargazing in the middle of the night. They cannot stay out in the cold so much. So you have to find very creative ways, like this, for example, a racket that we have tried to determine where to put the center of the mass in order for rocket to fly the highest or to go the long distance. So it was a very interesting subject, but it didn't. They didn't need to go out stargazing. Also, posters are a great way for teachers, for students to become a scientist. I love the idea of the poster because it gives the real scientific conference vibe. And on the national competition, when they put out all the posters, the students can browse the posters, brainstorm the ideas for topics they can do on the next year's competition. Of course, the biggest problem in Croatia is the motivation of students and teachers. So, for example, only physics and geography teachers feel confident enough to teach astronomy. And the number of students that will do all this hard work is decreasing in a very rapid way. So there are many factors that had contributed to this. But we are very positive people. And what we are doing is that we are trying with the help of the astronomers to organize a lot of teacher trainings and workshops and talks for young students, young children, and also we want to increase their interest in astronomy and also in STEM, as well as teach them scientific literacy. So by doing all this, as we call it, extracurricular work, and joining different projects like 100 Hour of Astronomy, we are hopeful that all these young students will become scientists one day and will see the beauty of the universe that is surrounding us. So thank you everyone for attending my short presentation, and this is my contact, and thank you for your attention.